Daniel Frank Crawford was born in 1942 and raised in Hackensack, rhymes with Never Go Back, New Jersey. But his dream since childhood was to run a theatre in London. This dream was kindled at age 5 when he saw a magnificent Broadway production of Peter Pan and became bewitched forever. As a teenager, he worked as a stagehand and lighting technician at the Mall Playhouse, which was founded and run by renowned author Robert Ludlum. It was here that Dan learned the lighting skills he would use for the rest of his life, expertly lighting the shows that he and others directed. In 1968, Dan moved to London and immediately began scouting for a theatre. He was living off the Fulham Road and working on building sites, spending his spare time marching up and down the main streets of undesirable neighbourhoods looking for a pub. He walked into the King's Head in Islington, which hadn't been decorated since the 1930s and was very run down and entirely deserted. But it had a back room, used for cockfighting in the 17th century and illegally for prize fighting in the 20th. A perfect space for a theatre. With a loan of £1,000 from his mother, he applied to buy the lease. The brewery said, well, nobody else wants it, may as well give it to you on a punt. Dan used floorboards and marble fireplaces from the building sites and rebuilt the pub from the ground up, restoring it to its former early Victorian grandeur. The back room was bedecked with heavy embroidered burgundy cloth from the Garrick Theatre, fitted with a tiny lighting box liberated from the old Phoenix Theatre, and tables and chairs arranged for dinner and show. Dinner theatre hadn't been seen in the UK before, but it was a long-standing American tradition. Within a few months, the King's Head Theatre was born, the first pub theatre in London since pre-Shakespearean times.
Well, the reason that Dan used to rivet when he got out of bed is because he very much identified with Toad of Toad Hall. So
yes, of course.
When he was nipping about in the little nipper, he would often honk the horn. And he did get a smile on everybody's face. And it's undoubted that he broke many laws. I remember getting to the airport and we were running late. Dan would go up the side of all the other cars.
In between the
lanes. The cars.
Yeah.
Yes, Dan, I mean, one of the really biggest shocks about Dan dying is I really thought Dan was immortal. I mean, there was everything about Dan that would make you think he was immortal. I remember we would get locked out of the King's Head in the early days of us all living there, and Dan would climb straight up the drain pipe. I mean, no other person could do that, and no thief could do it. So we were completely immune to someone getting egress that way. But he would climb up the drain pipe and let himself in.
The King's Head was my first acting job in England, so I'm very, very grateful and in debt for that. Otherwise, I'd not be sitting here in this palace that I now live in.
I think the King's Head puts a kind of button in your career. It fixes you.
It is a good place to play.
I think it'd be nice if it stayed up.
Passion makes him tick. Completely individual approach makes him tick. Great things make him tick.
He doesn't curry favour, he doesn't lick arse, he doesn't schmooze, he doesn't even look after his teeth. But there's something about him which is purer than all the others, the other steel-cut teeth and arse lickers, and that's what I like.
Yeah, I remember the day we actually first met him, and you were a tiny little girl, about 2.5 years old, and he was at the airport picking us up, and I had, a little bit of the Irish in me. I think I have a bit of second sight. I actually felt like I was recognizing him from another life. He looked totally Dickensian, a tall, wiry character, and I kept seeing this overlay of someone with a very tall top hat and really long and thin. And there was something most extraordinary about him, and we did connect very, very deeply right away and caused a lot of chaos. But it was like a force of nature. The three of us together were like three birds. Totally creative, completely insane, very eccentric. Dan was a genuine eccentric, and the King's Head was a little madhouse.
We did get robbed quite a lot, by the way.
We did get robbed quite a lot, but not up the drain pipe.
Not up the drain
pipe.
There's something wonderful about coming into the King's Head and people drinking here, and they're going, "Oh, you're doing a show tonight, Joe?" And you go, "Yeah, you come and sit," and they go, "No." Walk on through. It was fantastic. I loved it. I think this is an extremely important theatre.
One thing that was really amazing about living in the King's Head as a child in central London was that we were on a really busy high street, and I couldn't really go out onto the street on my own. The upper street was the A1, really, really busy, quite a dangerous road. But I had absolute free run of the entire building from the rooftops to the cellar. So as a very young child, I could be anywhere. I could be down in the cellar, I could be in the office, bothering the box office staff, especially Lynn Tilden, our raven-haired Sunday box office manager. I could be on the rooftops running around between the chimney pots, and Mum would frequently not know where I was, but there was always staff kind of keeping half an eye on me. So I had a lot of freedom and autonomy, which was quite special. And there were just so many amazing characters coming through the place all the time. So there was a new production coming in every 6 weeks. So there'd always be actors warming up in the kitchen and the flat roof above the theatre, and in the offices there'd be people getting changed all over the place when there were larger companies, and there'd be musicians and directors and writers coming in all the time, and true luminaries of the British theatre brushing shoulders with emerging talent and complete unknowns. And of course it was just a pretty normal life for me, but I look back on it and think of what a unique and special environment it was to grow up in. It was always very, very exciting, very colourful, very vibrant.
Thank you all very, very much indeed. And we're very, very lucky tonight that it's not raining. It is! It is raining. We're not lucky. But it's not so bad. This is really not my birthday. This is a birthday for the theatre. And yes, I've guided it and steered it and had a few ideas along the way. But it's not me. It's the theatre, really, whose birthday it is. It's the theatre that's done this. It's all of you out there who have contributed to it over the years who have done it. And it's your birthday. It's all the people to whom it belongs. And it belongs to everyone and each one of you. It's your birthday, as well as mine. I mean, I've only just kind of guided a few. I've had a few ideas here, a few good bits of casting that were sensible. A few bits that weren't. Chosen the odd hit, chosen the odd flop. But I mean, that, and as one would do, if you're running a theatre. But I didn't make them succeed. It was the performers who did. It was the directors who did. It was the writers who did. You're the ones who did it. You're the ones who made the real contribution. You were up here on stage. I was only talking about no smoking. I was giving no smoking nonsense. I wasn't doing anything sensible at all. You were acting. You were directing. You were writing. You were participating. You were supporting. You were providing finance. You were providing support. You were doing all these things that made it all happen. It's your birthday. And it's your theatre as much as it is mine. And thank you all so much for coming. I'm weepy.
Even when the darkest clouds are in the sky, you mustn't sigh and you mustn't cry. Spread a little happiness as you go by.
If I've achieved anything here, and continue to achieve anything here, or continue to keep the achievement going, I think it's because at a very early age my mother convinced me that I could do anything that I chose to do. When I was a boy, she said I could do or go anywhere I would like. When I went to theatre, she said against all people who said the opposite, do it by all means. Don't do it because it's what you want to do, but do it because it will be fun. Do it because you will have a fun life.
Darkest clouds are in the sky, you mustn't sigh and you mustn't cry, just spread a little